Absolute Superman might be even better than Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman.
Attention Span Edition.
Now, the first issue starts off years ago in the past on planet Krypton, with Clark explaining how the planet worked. The planet Krypton was ruled by its cities, sprawling centers of advanced science and ancient law, like Kandor, with its lab-grown gardens and lava-powered energy plants and its supercapacitors the size of skyscrapers made entirely of sunstone crystal. In the cities were these people called clerics of the Science League, and clerics are very high-ranking people amongst the Kryptonian society, harnessing the energies of the red sun and the planet itself to fuel their insatiable hunger for progress at all costs. They were the Kryptonian ruling class, the most venerated minds on the planet, and his parents were not among them. Instead, in this universe, his parents were just straight-up labor workers. After that, the story goes over to a different part of the planet where a farmer was saying that the rain was late. And the reason he's saying this is because just like in Rook Exodus, the story we covered recently, the rain and weather on Krypton is manufactured by the same clerics that I was talking about earlier. So while working on his harvesting machine, Lara is like, yeah, the sky department must be having trouble maintaining cloud systems with all these gemstones. They say the one near Zan's been blowing for 40 days, hailing sapphires the size of your fist. To which the farmer responds,
Krypton's always been a tough old ball of sun-beat grit, but I swear, these days, it's like there's something wrong with the dirt. My farm really needs that rain. Clerics charge me for an early morning downpour, but I haven't seen so much as a drizzle.
You know how it is. With the Science League, the science always takes a bit longer when it's for the Redlands. I'm sure they got all the rain they need in Kandor and Argo today.
Damn if you didn't just say a mouthful. Rain bill's gone up, too. Was almost 3,000 crim this month.
3,000? That's obscene. I could build your own cloud seeders for that.
Sure, and when you get locked up for illegal sciencing, who's gonna fix my harvester? You're the only mechanic around who's been able to keep this old girl running.
She's a classic, from the days when things like her were still made by somebody's hands. See if you can fire her up.
You're a lifesaver, Lara L. What do I owe you? And don't tell me nothing. How about a basket of crawberries? Those are still George's favorite, aren't they?
He's going under today.
Yeah? Well, he must have gone under 1,000 times by now, right?
3,475. So how come this time my guts are all twisted in knots?
Moments later, the clerk's weather machines finally showed up to the farm to give the farmer his rain.
Looks like your rain finally showed up.
About damn time. Come on, let's get inside before we get drenched. Lara, what are you doing?
You paid a lot of crim for this rain. Don't you want to get your money's worth?
Clark would then go back to narrating, expressing that his mother was an exemplary student, destined for great things. But one day she wrote an essay criticizing Krypton's lack of funding for interstellar exploration. For this, she was labeled unruly and forbidden from ever applying to the Science Academy. What's so crazy about that, though, was that she wrote that when she was only 9 years old, because she wanted to be an astronaut. He then goes on to explain Krypton's class structure and how it defined all aspects of life. At the top of it all was the Science League, and at the very bottom of the structure was the Labor Guild. Class distinctions were so important that citizens were required to wear them at all times. However, the crest of the laborer was seen as a mark of shame and a sign that someone was poor and unskilled. So the classic Superman symbol, as we all know it, is actually looked down upon in this universe, but his parents still wore it with pride. They told Clark they were children of the sun and people who made their way with their own two hands. In other words, people of steel. The story then moves forward into one of Krypton's mines where Clark's father Jor was examining possible stress markers and seeing if the mine was even safe for work.
Warning, instability alert. Evacuate the mine immediately.
I'm not seeing anything at all. No stress fractures, no dimpling, nothing that looks like the start of a sinkhole or cave-in. Your diggers are sure they heard splintering? Swore up and down, loud as they could remember, and they've been going down under so long they're half slag rat. We've scanned and scanned again. There's nothing but solid rock and sunstone for 5 clecks in every direction. There's no danger down here, just some diggers who have lost their nerve. We need to reopen the mine. But you're the engineer. It's your call, Jor-El. I'm listening. What are you trying to tell me, Krypton? What in the name of Eureka is the meaning of this? Why are my workers standing around topside not digging sunstone? Safety concerns, sir. I shut it down. I'm here from Geological Engineering, and I have concerns about this mine's stability. Based on what? Show me the stress markers. I'm still searching for those. I suggest we launch drill probes and plumb the depths. I've got a better idea that'll save us both a whole mess of trouble. Take a good long look at my chest, and then have a glance down at yours. Now go march yourself upstairs and tell those diggers the League of Middle Management said to get their sorry skin sacks back to work. Now. I'll tell them, no, you won't. This shaft is closed until further inspection. You should all get to the surface. I'll launch the probes myself. Jarrell, you must be about the dumbest laborer ever crawled his way out of the red wastes. You'll be digging ditches in Moondra Tundra by the time I'm finished with you. Just moments later, as Jor continued his analysis, the mine started rumbling like crazy, and it was clear that they should have listened to him. What? What was that? Run! Meanwhile, as chaos ensued, Clark continued narrating in the background, stating that his father was set to graduate the Science Academy with impeccable marks. A high-ranking position in the ruling class awaited him. But at his graduation ceremony, he gave a speech condemning what he saw as the Science League's environmental recklessness. He warned them that pillaging Krypton's natural resources was endangering the entire planet, and without drastic reforms, it could someday lead to global catastrophe. Unfortunately, though, he was laughed out of his graduation, laughed out of his position in the league, and laughed out of his life as he knew it, but all along, he was right. Their homeworld was rotting from within. The towering cities, the windswept redlands, the purple farms, crystal forest, and great glass mountains of Zard. And as kryptonite energy literally began bursting out from cracks in the ground, Jor and his fellow colleagues were running out of time to get to the surface. Give me your hand! The scientists, the laborers, the elves, all of it, all of Krypton was doomed. Or at least almost all of it. The story then goes to present-day Brazil, where a bunch of poor miners were awaiting further orders from the Peacemakers, who are basically just as corrupt as the people they work for. Superman would then proceed to enlighten us on their current predicament. 3 days ago, the migrant workers at the Lajes Creek diamond mine were tunneling underneath a kimberlite ore body. Typically, there's a bunch of diamonds there, however, this time they would end up discovering a large deposit of asbestos. Despite being a toxic carcinogen, though, they were ordered by their employers to continue digging. Later on, snow began to fall on the favela outside the mine where the workers lived with their families, resulting in a blizzard of carcinogens. When the workers tried to leave, they were reminded that they were still under contract to the mine's owners, Lazarus Corp. Making it even worse, they were reminded of this at gunpoint. Apparently, they were promised $300 once they finished mining, which was more than an entire month's pay, which is probably why they went through with it. Regardless of what they were being paid though, it was nothing compared to what Lazarus Corp was making because they extracted over $200 million worth of carats the previous year. These miners expected that what they did here in the darkness would be the death of them, but they did it nonetheless in the name of their family, and Clark did the same thing, revealing a massive pile of diamonds because he had already mined and crushed the ore for them. The workers were so confused as to how this happened, stating that it didn't make any sense because the crusher hadn't even been used. Making it even more miraculous was that the asbestos that was in the air was simply gone. As they contemplated on whether or not they should tell somebody, this guy, aka Afro Man, we're just gonna call him Afro Man because I don't know how to pronounce his name, he was like, no, we're not gonna say anything, our work here is done. So he started pushing the diamonds out of the mine. All that was left for them to do now was claim their pay, but once they got outside, the Peacemakers were just as confused as them when they first discovered the diamonds. Now, an important note is that one of the Peacemakers says that this has also happened in Botswana and Ravi, and that's probably not how you pronounce those places, but you'll understand in a moment why they're important. But anyways, after that, the story switches over to the previous night, and with that being said, let's switch back over to voiceover mode. In this place, being alone will kill you even quicker than a mine. You are alone, yes? Sorry, do you not speak Portuguese? Someone say they heard you speaking Spanish. Another said English. One of them swears you are a wild boy of the Amazon, who speaks only gibberish. I'm sorry, I don't mean to pry. Here we all have our secrets. He then introduces himself as Clark scans him with his X-ray vision, but I just have no idea how to pronounce that name, so we're just gonna keep calling him Afro Man. But anyways, he asks Clark if he has a name, and Clark quietly says, not anymore. What do you want from me? Tomorrow we face the blizzard, but tonight there will be barbecue boar and grilled plantains, and we will drink cachaca and dance until sleep comes over us like a fever. Join us. You will be welcome. You will be family. I've seen the wonders of your world. What? I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. I've seen the wonders of your world. My world? And I've seen a lot of places like this. Industries that run on suffering. How do you know which is truth? You know. When you have what is worth fighting for, that is the truth. And what if you have nothing? I have to go. More work to do, but thank you. After that, Clark disappeared, leaving Afro Man confused at what he meant by having to do more work. And then our story moves forward into the next day, where the Peacemakers were brutally punishing Afro Man because of how quickly the diamonds were mined. They knew the miners weren't the ones who mined them, so they were demanding Afro Man to tell them what the deal was. Meanwhile, Clark was in a nearby favela sleeping and supercharging his cells with energy from the sun. And one of the most intriguing things about this is that his suit is actually capable of talking to him.
Warning, Peacemakers approaching, conflict imminent, solar charging suspended, instigating wake-up procedures.
As some sort of weaponized vehicle and a bunch of Peacemakers began approaching his favela, once again we get some more narration from him where he expresses that he should have been gone on to the next mine, to the next corporate pig farm, or the next sweatshop factory. Years of running all across the planet, from the jungle to the big waters to whatever you call those places that are nothing but sand. And it's always the same. It's always misery, always Lazarus. Except this time he's left himself weak and sun-starved, dreaming of a time so long ago when he still knew who he was.
You inside, come out with your hands in the air. Do it or you will be shot. Hello?
Huh? What the hell is...
Contact! Contact! Open fire!
Maybe it's for the best I hadn't already left, because after years of watching these people treat the poorest and lowest among them as little more than cattle, I've gotten tired of running.
Interesting. Like the other Lazarus forces we've encountered, their weapons and armor incorporate technology not native of this galaxy.
Will they live if I hit them?
Yes, but I still advise against that.
I know what you're gonna say, Soul, but we're not leaving until the miners are safe. Rounds ineffective. Adjusting ammunition. Printing maximum caliber.
Kal-El, this is a planet of combustion engines, fanatical religions, and thermonuclear weapons. These people are never safe. And neither are you if you insist on exerting yourself in this manner. Your solar energy levels are quite depleted.
These people are in danger, and it's my fault. Clark would then go around the favela, getting as many people as possible out of harm's way, only to run into Afro Man shortly after, telling him to please get everyone out of there.
Kal-El, you must leave now. Kal-El.
Attention Peacemakers. Call off the Reaper drones, you bucket-headed half-wits. That's an order from Lazarus Command. The director himself wants the target alive. Agents, tell me what you see. Physical abilities beyond... Good lord, beyond all human scale. Definitely the same subjects as the Botswana and Dharavi incidents. Like before, there's some kind of interference with the images.
It's the suit. If you look closely, you can see it's shifting, changing shape like living armor protecting him. And sometimes I swear he's talking to it.
Good eye, Agent. Alright, be ready to hit the ground running and gunning, people.
Kal-El, no. You know you cannot control your...
Cal released a massive burst of solar energy, and eventually it was too much for him to handle, so he started begging Soul to shut him down. And after doing so, Soul insisted on him not engaging with the incoming forces, urging him to leave and return to the shadows. Maybe... You're right, Soul. This was a bad idea. And I don't really feel so great. Let's get out of here before... Right before he could leave, he was handcuffed by the one and only Lois Lane, telling him that she'd fry his face if he tried moving. The story then takes another tone shift, switching over to the Nevada desert, where we have Brainiac at Lazarus HQ.
Well now, what have we here? A scrumptious new toy. Wonder where you came from.
And in the background of this creepy place, he has a bunch of shrunken cities and they're all begging him to kill them. After that, we're brought to central Kansas, where we see that the Kemp farm was completely destroyed, and there's a sign right in front of it saying that it was the property of Lazarus Corp. And we don't really know what went on here, but we can assume it's something really bad, and another reason why Superman hates Lazarus Corp so much. On the next page, we jump back over to Krypton's past, where Lois was working on some gadgets when suddenly she spotted Jor off in the distance. Somehow he survived the catastrophe in the mine earlier.
Jor-El! These look like radiation burns. What happened? Was there an accident at the mine? Why aren't you in a hospital?
Of course, there must be testing before I can say for sure. I'll need to get started right away. Right away.
Jor, it's me. Tell me what this is. Tell me what happened.
Lara, we can't tell anyone yet. You understand? Not until we're certain. We must be certain before we warn the world. Look at it, Lara. I want us to remember it like this. Once it's gone.
Gone? No, Jor-El, tell me you don't mean...
Cal? Where's Cal? Cal! Lara, where's our son?
He's all right. He's here. Cal's right here.
Now this part was freaking crazy to me. Cal actually got to know his parents longer than just a newborn baby.
Dad, are you okay?
Oh, Cal. I'm sorry, son.
Your father's going to be fine, Cal. We're all going to be all right. Jor, whatever this is, we'll get through it the way we always do. Together.
But as we can see, somewhere nearby, kryptonite energy is starting to seep up to the surface. And sadly, that's where our issue comes to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It took me a lot of hard work and a long time to finish. So if you guys would drop a like and comment, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know if you want a part 2 in the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one.